Hi guys, and welcome back to another movie review. Today I'll be reviewing the new Steven Spielberg film, The BFG. So The BFG was a book by Roald Dahl that a lot of kids grew up reading. I don't actually remember reading it as a kid, but I know my brothers did, and a lot of people loved that book, so they were very excited for this film. The reason I was excited for this movie was pretty much singly because Steven Spielberg directed it. If he hadn't directed it, I probably wouldn't have even bothered seeing it, but the fact that he did, he's one of my favourite directors and one of the biggest directors of all time. He's done classics like Jaws, Indiana Jones, E.T., and just great fantasy films over the years, so that really gave this film a lot of hope, I guess. So the plot's really simple. It's about a little orphan girl named Sophie, and around 3 AM in the morning, they call it the witching hour, a lot of people go missing for some reason and no one knows why, and she stays awake to try and find out, and she bumps into the big friendly giant, who is just a giant at that stage, but so she's scared of him. But whenever the giants spot anyone, they have to take them in case of danger of people letting them know that there's giants around. So this giant takes Sophie and takes her to giant country, which is very far away, no human beings ever found it before, and pretty much he keeps her in his house, but she soon discovers that he's not a bad giant. He's like the runt of the litter. He's half size and he doesn't eat humans like the other giants. He only eats vegetables, and he's a very kind and gentle kind of person. So pretty much from then on, the film is about their relationship and their friendship as they get to know each other and discover what their lives are like, and it's also about the BFG kind of protecting Sophie from these other giants. There's like 8 or 9 full-size giants who do eat humans, and they're always on the lookout for her, and they can smell her around the house and everything, so he's always got to be hiding her and things like that, and it makes for really entertaining and fun scenes. So the visual effects were fantastic. I think they were done by Weta Digital, which is Peter Jackson's company, and they looked fantastic. A lot of it was photo real, and like the BFG just looked fantastic. You could almost tell in most shots that he was there and he was real, even though he was, I don't know how they did him really, to be honest. It'd be good to see a special feature on that, because it was Mark Rylance and you could tell it was him, but they made him look more cartoonish and different, and obviously taller, being a giant and everything. So it would be interesting to see actually how they did that. Also, the film had a fantastic score by John Williams, who's one of the best composers around. He's done pretty much all of Steven Spielberg's films over the years, so whenever he's attached to a film, it's always really good to listen to the soundtrack while the film's going, and I like to go back to YouTube afterwards and listen to it as well. And I think this was a very fun and original, whimsical, kind of magical soundtrack like he used to do with films like E.T. and Close Encounters and Hook and the Harry Potter films, so it was good to hear that kind of come back. And it was also good to see Steven Spielberg direct a film that wasn't a politically driven war film or anything serious like that. It was good to see him kind of return to that fantasy realm that he did for family films so well back in the 80s and 70s and everything. So the performances were really great as well, especially the 2 lead characters. Mark Rylance, who was in Bridge of Spies last year, and he won the Academy Award for that, but he was great in this film as well. I thought his performance was fantastic as the BFG, a really likeable and fun character. And Sophie is played by Ruby Barnhill. I don't think she's actually been in any big films before, so this is her first big breakout role, and it was really good because she did a really realistic and fantastic job of making you believe that she did have a friendship with this giant. There was one point near the end of the film, or in the second half of the film, that slowed it down for me. It went for about 5 or 10 minutes when they're introduced to the Queen as a character, and I thought that that scene was a bit slow and just dragged the film down a little bit, because the rest of the film is pretty fast paced and pretty interesting the whole way, but this scene was a bit dull and slow. But it did pick up when they had the breakfast scene with the Queen, and everything was quite funny, and from then on to the end of the film was fine, but it was just that gap in the middle of the film that was about 10 minutes long that I think they could have shortened or made a bit more entertaining. They kind of brought the film down a little bit for me. But on a whole, I really enjoyed this film. It's one of the best films I've seen so far this year, and I'm going to recommend it to anyone because it was a fantastic fantasy film. I know it's probably aimed more at kids, but I think if you grew up with Spielberg's movies like E.T. and Hook and all those fantasy films, you'll know that feeling that you get when you watch these kind of movies, and it kind of brings you back to that childhood feeling, and I think this film does that really well. It's really fun and entertaining though for all ages, I think. So I'm going to recommend this film, and I'm going to give it a high A-. I probably would have given it an A if it wasn't for that scene that slowed the film down a bit, but an A- is still really high, and I was really entertained by it the whole way through. So thanks everyone for watching my review for the new Spielberg film, The BFG. Definitely check it out if you get the chance, and please subscribe to my channel and check out some of my previous videos, and I'll be back soon. Bye.